Hello and welcome back to another episode of PT Authority PT Writing Summarized Written Text. In this episode, in this video, we'll be talking about the summarized written text method, and the method that we're going to discuss today is the PPP method, or the phrase per part method. Let's get started. So on the test day, you will get 1 to 2 questions of this type, and the score of PT Writing Summarized Written Text will contribute towards your writing and reading scores. So this is a bit different from other questions. This has an integrated scoring criteria. You will get 10 minutes to 10 minutes to answer each question of this type, and then you should have a summary that is 1 sentence long. How are you scored? So obviously the content is very important. So your summary should have all the relevant details that is mentioned in the passage. It doesn't necessarily have to have all the details, but the ones that are most relevant should be present in the summary. The sentence or the summary should be 1 sentence long, and it should be between 5 to 75 words. And obviously it should have the correct grammar and vocabulary used. So what does a summary question look like? So it'll have the instruction at the top, and then it'll have the passage or the text that you need to summarize in the middle, and then at the bottom you should have a space to enter the single sentence summary. Now, the technique that we're going to use to solve this type of question on PTE is called the PPP method, or the phrase for para method. What this method is you identify a phrase that clearly encapsulates what that paragraph says in that one phrase. So let's look at an example here. I want you to take a minute and skim through the passage that is given on this page. Pause this video, skim through the passage, and then let's solve this together using the PPP method once you have read it. So yeah, pause this video and come back after a minute. All right, I hope you've skimmed through the passage. Now let's use the PPP method, or phrase per para method, wherein for each paragraph you're gonna identify a phrase that clearly identifies the essence of that paragraph. So let's get started. Let's do the first paragraph. Deforestation, the large-scale removal of forests, continues to threaten ecosystems, biodiversity, and global climate. Forests play a crucial role in absorbing carbon dioxide, regulating water cycles, and providing habitats for countless species. However, activities such as logging, agriculture, and urban development have led to destruction of millions of hectares of forests annually. In the Amazon rainforest, often referred to as the lungs of the earth, deforestation has surged in recent years. Satellite data reveals that vast stretches of forest are cleared each day, primarily for cattle ranching and soybean farming, disrupting ecosystems and releasing significant amounts of stored carbon into the atmosphere. Now, to identify a phrase for this paragraph, to me, looking at this paragraph, it is talking about deforestation. One, it is talking about the pace at which it's happening. So it's happening at a very rapid pace, and it is caused by human actions. So the phrase that I would use for this paragraph would look something like this: deforestation caused by human activities happening at a rapid pace. Now, let's read the second paragraph. The effects of deforestation extend beyond the immediate loss of trees. Soil erosion increases, the tree roots that stabilize the land are removed, and the nearby water bodies become polluted with sediments and agricultural runoff. Furthermore, the loss of tree cover exacerbates climate change by reducing Earth's ability to absorb greenhouse gases, contributing to rising global temperatures. Indigenous communities and wildlife that rely on forests for survival are also severely impacted, often facing displacement and extinction. So this paragraph roughly talks about the effects on climate change and loss of climate stability. So I would phrase this paragraph as this. And the last paragraph, let's read it together. As the world grapples with the consequences of climate change, many experts advocate for reforestation and sustainable land management practices to mitigate damage. Nonetheless, unless global efforts are intensified to curb deforestation, the cascading impacts on biodiversity, climate stability, and human livelihoods will continue to escalate. So this kind of says that uh, reforestation helps, but unless there's a huge global effort, the impacts of the loss of ecosystems and deforestation will likely remain. So now I've got a phrase for each paragraph here. Now the next task is to combine the three individual phrases that capture the essence of the individual paragraphs into one holistic sentence, which, according to the scoring criteria, should be a complete sentence, roughly 5 to 75 words. It should have good vocabulary and grammar, and it should reflect the main points that I mentioned in these three phrases. Now, if it was me, I would phrase the combined summary from these phrases into something like this. Deforestation driven by human activities rapidly destroys forests critical for climate stability and biodiversity. And while reforestation can help mitigate damage, the loss of ecosystems and long-term environmental impacts often persist. So this is how I would phrase the summary based on the three individual phrases that I got using the PPP method. I hope you've understood this method, and by demonstrating the method using an example, I hope you were able to get an idea of how I was thinking, what's happening inside my head, and I hope you'll be able to use the same method to solve this type of questions. The key here is to practice, and there are heaps of practice questions of this type on ptauthority.com. Don't forget to check it out. There's learning materials, lessons, as well as practice questions on this type of question type on ptauthority.com. So definitely check it out, and all the best for preparation and good luck.